Three beloved isles.
One beloved station, Radio Cayman.
The voice.
The heart.
The soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066 and giversplanet.com, Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the Record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 11th day of May 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle. If you ensure that you observe the rules of the road, folks, then the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. And I understand that Mr. George Ebanks is celebrating a birthday today. That's my understanding. Want to wish him a happy birthday. Or if you celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. Some of you may have experienced double tragedies, and we encourage you to please be strong. We want you to know that you have our full support as well, and we're there for you. For those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, either in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, contents of which will be played during the course of the show. At this juncture, though, this morning, I'm going to ask you to hold off on those phone calls, but if you want to email me at fortherecord at candw.ky or WhatsApp 925-3261, because we want on For the Record this morning to pay homage to our national hero, the late Sybil Ione McLaughlin, who passed away yesterday, and We want to share with you her life story, part of her life story, her accomplishments, things that make us proud, and why she was chosen to be a national hero as well. So that we want to do this morning. Now at 8:15 after the news, we will have some panelists from the Public Works Department, and they will be talking about their inaugural skills competition, which will take place Thursday and Friday. It's an event that will see students in the apprenticeship program showcasing their skills in the carpentry, masonry, and other areas. So we will have them on from 8:15 to about 9:15, and then we will resume talking about our last national hero, the late Honorable Mrs. Sybil Ione McLaughlin, MBE, JP. So much. We have, I have trade winds articles that we want to talk, that I'm going to share with you. We have other articles. I want to tell you about a book that was written about her as well. And we want to highlight all of this with her acceptance speech on the 15th of February 1991, when the then Governor Alan Scott handed over the Speaker's chair to Honorable Sybil McLaughlin, and she became the first, not only female, first Caymanian Speaker of our Legislative Assembly in modern times as well. So all of that's going to be done this morning. So I'm going to start off by sharing with you what's on the Legislative Assembly or our Parliament's website. And on there, it has images as well as information on the various speakers of our Parliament. So here we have the biography of the Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin. And I also want to say that the staff here at Radio Cayman extend their sincere and deepest condolences to Ms. Sybil's family as well. So, Honorable Mrs. Sybil Ione McLaughlin, MBE, JP. The Honorable Mrs. Sybil Ione McLaughlin, MBE, JP, was born on the 24th day of August 1928 in Mobile, Alabama, USA, to Captain Charles Christopher Bush and his wife, Lottie Verona Bush. On the death of her father, Sybil came to the Cayman Islands, to Grand Cayman, with her mother, sister, and brother when she was 2 years old. She spent some time in Nicaragua with her aunt, Miss Ella Bush Lopez, where she attended kindergarten. She returned to Grand Cayman and attended the only government school in Georgetown. Miss Sybil returned to Nicaragua and attended the Baptist College in Managua, where she graduated fluent in Spanish as well as having completed a commercial course. In 1945, she returned to Grand Cayman and was employed in the Commissioner's office as a clerk typist. She worked with the then Clerk of the Legislative Assembly of Justices and Vestry, Mr. Ernest O. Panton, ISO, MBE, JP, typing bills, etc. for the Assembly. In 1949, Miss Sybil married Delworth McLaughlin of East End, who was at that time a sergeant in the police force. Those days we call it the police force. It wasn't the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service yet. It was a police force then. In 1987, Mr. Delworth passed away, leaving to mourn Miss Sybil and their two sons, Christopher and Gordon. In 1959, when the islands received its first written constitution, Miss Sybil was appointed the first clerk of that body. She was also the clerk of Executive Council, now Cabinet. Following further constitutional advancement, Miss Sybil became the full-time clerk of the Legislative Assembly and the first woman to hold the post in the Commonwealth. She served a 6-month attachment to the House of Commons, London, as did most other Caribbean clerks, as well as an attachment to Northern Ireland, as well as an attachment to the Northern Ireland Parliament in Stormont. In 1966, and the attachment to the Parliament of Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago in 1971. She retired as the clerk of the Legislative Assembly in 1984. In her capacity as the clerk of the Legislative Assembly, Ms. Sybil became the first secretary to the Cayman Islands branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association from 1965 to 1984 and traveled extensively as secretary to delegations from the legislature, attending conferences within the Caribbean and outside the Caribbean as well. Among her outstanding achievements was her appointment as first Speaker of the Legislative Assembly on the 15th of February 1991. She served as Speaker until she retired in 1996. Prior to 1991, commissioners and governors presided in the legislature. Her appointment was made by the then Governor Alan Scott, CBE, by way of Proclamation number 3 of 1991. And I will be sharing those details from the Hansard with you after we take our break as well. The biographer also goes on to say that in 1996, she received the country's highest honor of National Hero in recognition of her contribution to the Cayman Islands parliamentary development as well as to community life. And then it goes on to talk about her activities after her retirement. Tells us also that she was one of the founding members of the Business and Professional Women's Club and the Rotary Sunrise Club. She was also one of the founding members of the Cayman Islands Tennis Club and played a lot of tennis in her young days. She now enjoyed watching tennis matches on television. She was also a Justice of the Peace and assisted many persons by signing and translating documents. Now, what I don't see in this, and I will share that with you as well, she was made a member of the British Empire in 1967, and the Tradewind newspaper also carries an article with that. She, along with the then Justice Horsfall, were given honors at that point in time as well. Lots to share with you folks. I hope you're listening. This is our late national hero. We have to pay homage to them. They are the persons who helped to build this country. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I will share more with you, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
History shows by the year 1660, the English had established themselves in Jamaica and had begun treating the Cayman Islands as natural appendages of the larger territory. However, apart from small settlements on Grand Cayman and Little Cayman, most of the three islands were left untouched. This, of course, was ideal for pirates, since Cayman also lay astride the route of treasure galleons returning to Spain. laden with gold and silver from the New World. This promise of capturing Spanish treasure ships on their way home from the Caribbean soon attracted the attention of a motley crowd of buccaneers, pirates, and freebooters. Along with the promise of treasure, the abundance of fresh water, turtle meat, and wood made Cayman an ideal landing spot. The golden age of piracy spanned from the 1650s to the 1730s, as some of the biggest names in buccaneering circle made landing, including Lothar, Lowe, Morgan, and Cayman's most notorious pirate was Edward Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard, who frequented the area from 1713 to his death on the 22nd of November, 1718.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamped Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, no phone calls at this point in time because I am sharing with you parts of the life history of the late Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, MBE, JP, who unfortunately passed away yesterday, and we are paying homage to her. So I have about 7 minutes left to share this portion with you. So on the 15th of February 1991, the then Speaker, who was also the Governor, Mr. Alan Scott, was delivering the throne speech at the opening of the Legislative Assembly. And I will share with you later on those persons who were members of the Legislative Assembly at that point in time, because this was an historic occasion for the people of the Cayman Islands, and they are a part of that history as well. And they all congratulated Ms. Sybil on becoming the Speaker, and I will share that with you. Some were much more eloquent than others. Some had additional information, so much information. The Honorable W. McKeever Bush, and he was also one of those persons who was instrumental in having Ms. Sybil appointed as the Speaker. So the Governor, and still Speaker until this chair was taken over by the Speaker, or by the Governor, by the Speaker, was talking about various things, and I will share those with you later on. He spoke about the administrative history of the Cayman Islands, but that is too long for me to share with you at this point in time. But then he spoke about the office of the Speaker, and here's what he says. He says, I now come to the office of Speaker. Development and political maturation, together with a need for more efficient administration, were by 1970 pointing towards the Assembly being headed by a separate individual. The 1972 Constitution enabled the Governor to appoint a Speaker in place of the Governor as presiding officer, following a motion in the Assembly. Whether the time was right for this change has been debated periodically. But finally, in September 1990, the elected members of the Assembly came to the conclusion by a majority that the long-standing constitutional doctrine of the separation of the executive and legislative powers could and should be brought into effect in the Cayman Islands. He goes on to say, I have accordingly appointed a Speaker, and shortly this House and the community will witness the swearing in and installation of the first Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of the Cayman Islands. And he goes on to say, and so a Caymanian is about to assume the office of Speaker with its rewards and its problems. It is a unique office. It functions by the will of and with the consensus of the members of the Assembly. The holder exercises authority in the Assembly largely through the self-discipline and acceptance of procedures of the Assembly. The holder of the office is entrusted with important responsibilities in the conduct of parliamentary democracy in a monarchy with a long history of precepts and precedents. It is accordingly with pride and confidence as the 5th governor of these islands and as the 12th presiding officer of the Assembly since 1888 that I shall hand over the office to Mrs. Sybil McLaughlin. I tender to her my warmest good wishes for a most successful and rewarding tenure of office. To the staff of the Legislative Assembly, I record my special thanks for their devotion and efficiency in handling the business of this Assembly and their capacity for working under pressure and producing consistently such excellent services for this House. So he goes on to, those are his parting words in terms of his tenure there, and he goes on to talk about that it was not always smooth sailing, and that was it. So after that, we had motions of thanks that were extended to the governor. So I think I have enough time that I can share with you very quickly. I want to, I said earlier, I wanted to tell you those persons who were members of the Assembly at that time, and as well as, okay, here we go, as well as the clerks and everyone else. So the members of the Assembly, the elected members were now the Honorable W. McKeever Bush, Mr. John Jefferson Sr., Mr. Truman M. Borden, Captain Mabry Colonel, Mr. Gilbert McLean, Mr. Roy Borden, Mr. G. Haig Borden, and Mr. John B. McLean. So they were elected members. The officers, also the members, the government members were Mr. Thomas Jefferson, Mr. Richard Ground, Mr. Lemuel Hurlston, Mr. Norman Borden, Mr. Benson E. Banks, the Honorable D. Ezard Miller, and Mr. Linford Pearson. And the official members would have been don't have that. We'll have that for you. But folks, we've reached the top of the hour for 8 o'clock news. I've gone half a minute past that. A lot more to share with you. We're going to have our guests in the studio after the news. And once our guests have concluded, then we will return to sharing information with you with our national hero, the late Sybil Ione McLaughlin. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Foster's It's a minute after 8.
It's time to live well with Foster's and CG Brit K.
Live Well is your source for recipe ideas and lifestyle tips to help you achieve your healthy living goals.
Head to livewell.fosters.ky and discover the best herbs to fill your indoor garden and 5 ways to repurpose egg cartons.
Plus, you'll find our latest Live Well recipe.
This week, we have cheesy turkey taco skillet full of fresh, affordable ingredients.
Get started at livewell.fosters.ky.
Live Well with Foster's and CG Brit K.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With a look at Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news, I'm Dion Anglin. His Excellency the Governor Martin Roper says he is, quote, deeply saddened to hear of the passing of national hero, the Honourable Sybil McLaughlin.
She will be enormously missed by everyone across our islands, and I send my deepest sympathies and condolences to her family and friends.
The 93-year-old was Cayman's first female national hero, breaking many barriers for Caymanian women and opening the door for women to progress in the parliamentary field. Dr. Tasha Ebanks Garcia, in a recent statement, has responded about the public discussion on her eligibility to work in the United Kingdom as the Cayman Islands government representative. Radio Cayman's Carsley Fuller has the details.
She explained that she signed her contract in March 2021 after a successful recruitment process with the Ministry of International Trade, Investment and Aviation. Following the election in April 2021, the responsibility for the UK office was transferred to the Cabinet Office, and Dr. Ebanks Garcia joined the team in May. The travel document she used to enter the United Kingdom in July was her Canadian passport. However, she says, quote, as a Caymanian who was born in Canada, she possessed Caymanian status like many other Caymanians who are born overseas. On entering the UK, she was open and clear with the border control officer that she was starting a new post as the Cayman Islands government representative to the UK, and there was no concern raised. She began the steps necessary for obtaining a British passport in April 2021, starting with being naturalized as a British Overseas Territory citizen. She was naturalized in September last year and returned home in March of this year for a combination of annual leave and planned work. During this trip, it was brought to her attention by the chief officer that questions had been raised regarding her right to work status in the UK and that she should ensure she has a British passport to continue working in the United Kingdom without doubt. Dr. Ebanks Garcia is taking the situation, quote, very seriously and says she's sorry for the oversight. She has taken immediate action to rectify the situation. In the meantime, she says it has been an honor for her as a 7th-generation Caymanian to serve the Cayman Islands as the Cayman Islands government representative in the UK. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Carsley Fuller.
Thank you, Carsley. Be sure to look up this Sunday evening. There's going to be a total lunar eclipse, and Cayman will have one of the best viewpoints from the entire planet to watch.
Now, it's all going to start around 8:30, but you won't actually notice very much until about 9:30, when the darkest part of the Earth's shadow starts to block the moon. Now, by about 10:30, it's going to be completely covered in the darkest part of the Earth's shadow, so it's only lit by the red. It's essentially coming from the sunsets all around the world, which is quite a poetic way to look at it.
Cayman Astronomical Society President Tyan Miller tells Radio Cayman by 1 a.m. Monday morning, you'll be able to see the bright full moon clearly again. The event is 100% safe to view, and you can check it out from anywhere in the Cayman Islands. Now for a look at news from around the world, here's the BBC.
A Palestinian-American journalist from the broadcaster Al Jazeera has been shot dead while covering an Israeli army raid on the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. Shireen Abu Akleh was wearing a flak jacket marked Press. Al Jazeera and the Palestinians say an Israeli sniper shot her in the head. Israel says she was likely killed by Palestinian gunfire. Al Jazeera's chief, Mohammed Ma'awad, condemned Shireen's shooting.
Shireen wasn't covering a war. Jenin is an area that is under the occupation of the Israeli forces according to the international law. So Shireen wasn't covering from a side of the conflict. She was there accompanying the Israeli forces while they were intervening in Jenin. So what we think is that This is the responsibility for the occupation forces, because under the international law, they are responsible for the civilians, for the journalists covering on the ground. We are pursuing legal case as well. So basically what we see here is an intentional target to one of the prominent journalists of Al Jazeera.
The Islamic State group has published a video which it says shows the execution of 20 Christian civilians in northeast Nigeria's Borno state. Ishaq Khalid has the details.
The video, published on an IS-linked news outlet, contains 3 groups of captives in civilian clothes. They were apparently in different undisclosed locations, all said to be in the northeastern Nigerian state of Borno. It's not clear when the video was recorded. The masked militants were armed with guns and their spokesperson brandishing a knife. Speaking in Hausa, he said they carried out the executions to avenge the killing of 2 of their leaders in the Middle East earlier this year. The BBC cannot independently verify whether the victims were indeed Christians or exactly where and when it happened.
China has criticized the World Health Organization for saying Beijing should change its zero-COVID strategy. A Beijing Foreign Ministry spokesman, Zhao Lijian, called the remarks irresponsible and said China was right to continue with its current COVID policy.
China is fully equipped and capable of achieving dynamic zero. We also have full confidence in winning the hard battle of epidemic prevention and making a greater contribution to the global fight against the epidemic.
In Shanghai, which is dealing with a large outbreak, officials have tightened restrictions. Some residents are again being forced to stay indoors, and others, even those testing negative, are being put into quarantine.
And that'll take us out of Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news. I'm Dion Anglin.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Whether it's routine care or highly complex surgery, when it comes to your health, you want the best. Health City has Cayman's most comprehensive range of in-house medical services. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to understand your health and ensure you get the care you need. From Camana Bay to East End, you can trust the team at Health City. Health City, world-class healthcare within your reach.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra in extra crispy. And our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course, Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 71%. The barometric pressure 29.92 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 12 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as the pressure gradient tightens over the Cayman area due to a cold front over the northern Caribbean. Satellite images show cloudiness north of the Cayman area, which are slowly drifting towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid up to upper 80s and winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're presently at a high tide and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 12:39 and a high tide again tonight at 2 minutes past 7. Sunset 6:50, sunrise 5:52, and the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions to continue through Friday morning.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic is moving along moderately, coming from the West Bay four-way stop. Busy traffic on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. Some roads are wet, so please drive with extra caution. Looking to the east on Shamrock Road and the Linford-Pearson Highway, traffic is steady bit flowing, but further down on the Linford-Pearson Highway is a little busier, coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as well as off the Linford-Pearson Highway. On Agnes Way, traffic is busy. Busy traffic heading to Georgetown on Crew Road, and eastbound traffic on Crew Road is moving along at a good pace. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic flowing moderately, and on Shedden Road traffic is moderate in both directions. And on Schoolhouse Road, traffic is flowing at a good pace. Edward Street, moderate flow of traffic. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, click it or ticket.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good. Wow. Sensational. Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Refilling and transferring your prescriptions have never been this easy. Simply go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and follow the easy directions from your desktop, mobile device, or tablet. All you need to do is pop into Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor to collect your prescription. They're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 till 6 on Sundays and public holidays. No waiting in line, no wasting your lunch hour, no stress. Just easy online prescription refills and transfers from the pharmacy that has been caring about your health for 25 years. Call 947-8900 to speak to a pharmacist or go to healthcarepharmacy.ky and make life easy.
The 6:30 p.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we do have guests in the studio. We will be talking about the Public Works Department Inaugural Skills competition, which will take place this Thursday and Friday. And here we have in the studio, we will be discussing this. The discussion will take place with Mr. Andre Francis, who's the Training and Development Safety Quality Assurance Manager at the Public Works Department. Also with us, Ms. Tanisha James, who's the Human Resources Manager, would that be? Human Resources Manager at the Public Works Department. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. Now we're going to be talking about this skills competition, but what I would also like you to do is to tell our listening and viewing audience the genesis of this program. Tell us about the program itself, its inception, and the good news story about the program. So, who wants to start?
Okay, well, good morning again. Essentially, the apprenticeship program as we know it today started in 2016. And at that time, when we first started the venture, it was a joint program between us and SciFec. Essentially, we were identifying 5 or 6 students who had interest in trades in the technical fields, and we were allowing them the opportunity to come and get the hands-on experience with PWD and at the end an actual certification from City and Guilds. The program has definitely evolved since that time. Like I mentioned, we were taking on about 5 or 6 students when it initially commenced. And I'm happy to say with the cohort that we took on in 2021, for the first time ever, we were able to accommodate up to 50 students. So we've definitely grown since then, and we've been able to take on a new cohort every year since 2016.
Okay. So if I'm interested in joining the program, how do I go about that?
Okay. Thanks again for having us.
Sure.
Well, the program is open for young Caymanians. We're only catering to Caymanians. And the age is 16 to, well, we said to 29 because we wanted to cater to the youth. But, you know, we didn't want to cut it off at 20 or 25, so we'll go to 29. Once persons are interested in the program, they can either visit Public Works Department to pick up an application form, or they can visit our Facebook page, or they can send an email to pwd.apprentice
at gov.ky.
Correct.
Okay. And other than being a Caymanian in a certain age group, any other qualifications that would be required, or any other type of documentation is required?
No. Once persons are interested, they can just come at will, because once they come and make their application, we would have given them a diagnostic test to see exactly where they are and the level at which they are performing, and then we batch and stream them.
Okay, and let's mention again the various disciplines that you provide training in.
Okay, we focus only on the construction trades. So we do electrical installation at the basic level and the advanced level. We do carpentry at the basic and advanced level. We do plumbing at the basic and advanced level. We do masonry at the basic and advanced level. We also have a level 3 program in building and construction management for persons who would have matriculated from any one of the program from electrical, carpentry, masonry, plumbing, etc. We also have the capability to do welding, which is a program that we are approved to accommodate from City and Guilds as well.
Okay. Now, I am aware of the fact also that during COVID, there were particular challenges that you faced, just like everyone throughout the world and in the Cayman Islands face, as far as education and work is concerned. But you were extremely innovative in what you did to be able to continue the program during that time. Tell our audience about that, what you were able to accomplish during COVID lockdown.
Okay, like with all the educational institutions, this is globally, the pandemic affected the teaching learning process. And for persons who understand TVET, it's hands-on, it's practical. So whilst the academic subjects would have been easy to be taught online, because online existed long before the pandemic, in terms of the dual mode of education. But for technical education, you have that restraint because it's about providing evidence of what you can do. So there was where the challenges lie. Of course, the team would have met to strategize in terms of how is it that we're going to ensure that the program could continue. And of course, we use various different modality in terms of simulation. So students would have been able to use their cell phone, their cameras to do basic practical work at home and stream live to their instructors. Other than that, the academic portion would have continued via Zoom through the natural teaching learning process. But for the practical component of it, that was where the innovation came in terms of how we could have used the various smart devices coupled with presentations online, simulations online, to ensure that the students could have gotten the practical covered throughout that time.
Okay. Now we continuously hear people talking about the fact we need a trade school in the Cayman Islands. And it seems as if they want something purpose-built, focused on the trades. What would you say to them in terms of the program that the Public Works is offering, that in terms of its inclusivity and its success? Do we need more than what you're offering, do you think?
Well, I'm very passionate about TVET. It's in my blood. It's in my nature. And if you look at research right across the globe, TVET is really the driver for economic growth and development. TVET is really what drives national development. If you look at what is happening within the Cayman Islands with the construction sector, we have heard talks about the number of work permits in terms of persons coming into the country. Now, what PWD is doing at its core is to ensure that young Caymanians have an opportunity to garner these skills so they can take up these key positions within the workforce itself. Now, what we would have done would have looked at the labor force, because we are not providing training based on social demand. We're using labor market intelligence to see exactly what is it that workforce requires. And based on that, we formulate our programs, and based on that, we recruit, and based on that, we place persons within the industry. There is a lot more, yes, we could do, but as an organization where we are only capped at recruiting 50 students, we can't go beyond 50. So within our realm, we're doing as much as we can so that we can recruit as much young people, give them the requisite technical skills and competencies that they require, and of course place them in the workforce so that they can continue to contribute to this national development as far as TVET is concerned.
Okay. And that 50 that you talk about, that is in one cohort, or the number 50, 50 students?
Is our capacity utilization in terms of the amount of students we can have at any given point in time.
Okay, great. Now, you spoke to the workforce, and can you tell us your linkages, the connections that you have between what you're doing, your graduates, and the workforce as well. Because I know persons who have had small classes, they have been able to qualify persons, get them the not necessarily the experience, but the technical skills that they need. And they have gone out into the workforce and have been extremely successful. For instance, in the electrical field, some are now working with, CUC and things of that nature. Let's talk a little bit about your connection with the employers out there as well.
Okay. Well, partnership is very important. Mm-hmm. And for technical education, which is very expensive, public-private partnership is the way to go, because government within themselves, they would not be able to fully finance technical education. So public-private partnership is important. And because our graduates will move on to this industry, hence the essence of having that partnership. We currently have partnerships with a number of stakeholders. I really don't want to call the names just in case I forget some of the names. But we have partnerships with Andro, Dart, Phoenix, Arch and Godfrey, McAlpine, and the list goes on. Our students, they get an opportunity to go within these industry to hone their skills as far as internship is concerned. A part of our program is mentorship, which is the added value. It's very, very critical. So whilst they would have come to the program where they would get the theoretical knowledge and they would get the underpinning skills, there's also the mentorship where they would be twinned with a mentor at Public Works within the field that they are studying, or we place them within industry. Now, we get a lot of support from our industry partners, and we're very happy to have them on board. And we look forward to even grow our partnership at a greater level so that we can see a greater level of success as far as the placement of our students are concerned.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation will continue with Mr. Andre Francis, who's the Training, Development, Safety, Quality Assurance Manager at the Public Works Department. Also, Ms. Tanisha, make sure I'm pronouncing that right, James, who's the Human Resource Manager at the Public Works Department. And, we're talking about their skills challenge that is taking place on Thursday and Friday of this week. But we also are talking about the program itself, because we want to pass on information to you. We constantly hear people talking about the fact, what is the government doing? There's no place for children to go. We need a technical school to be established. And folks, we have so much here in the Cayman Islands, and this is your opportunity to hear about it, to learn about it. And if you know someone who you believe should be steered in that direction, or if you yourself feel that you want to participate in this program, this is where you will get the information on that this morning, right here on For the Record. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, we have representatives from the Public Works Department. And those of you who say, well, I thought that sounded like Andy, as opposed to Andre. It is Andy in the studio, with us as well. So it's the same person who you thought it was. I just gave him the name Andre instead of Andy. And also with us we have Miss Tanisha James. She's the Human Resource Manager at the Public Works Department. Of course, Mr. Francis is the Training, Development, Safety, Quality Assurance Manager at the Public Works Department. And we're talking about the skills competition that will be taking place this Thursday and Friday here in the Cayman Islands as well. So we know also that there are other entities within the Cayman Islands that have offerings and that you have been able to partner with as well, and one of those is Inspire Cayman, and I'd like you to tell us about that collaboration that you have in place there as well.
Yeah, we're very excited that we were able to partner with Inspire Cayman. I believe our partnership commenced just last month in April. We haven't been able to do an official announcement yet, so we're putting it out there for the first time. Mr. Miles at Inspire Cayman is assisting the program because one of the elements that we're missing with our program is we are training and developing these young Caymanians when it comes to the technical fields. Mm-hmm. And they're getting that hands-on experience with their mentors as well as the theoretical. But one thing that we were noticing is that, once we're sending them out for placement, sometimes some of the things that we're missing were their interpersonal skills or the employability skills. And that is one of the offerings that he is giving to the school now. Students have the opportunity to go in and learn resume writing, how to present themselves for interviews, and basically how to conduct themselves in the workforce. So they're being sent out there now with a complete package. Mm-hmm. They're being developed and they should be completely ready to take on the workforce in its entirety.
Okay. As a human resource manager, can you tell us how important it is in this day and age, to have those skills that you talk about? There were days in the Cayman Islands when you saw a job being advertised or someone told you that a job was vacant and you went there and the person would ask you, well, who you for? Who your mama is, who your daddy is, what school you went to, and based on that, basically hired you on the spot. The expectation of that happening nowadays, with the competition not only within the Cayman Islands, but we're also competing, with those who want to come to the Cayman Islands. Can you speak to the importance of, having those skills and imparting those skills? And obviously you saw it by partnering with Inspire Cayman, the need for that, because I believe there is always that opportunity, to miss an employment opportunity by basically presenting yourself the wrong way. How important is that as a HR manager?
Most definitely. As you mentioned, at one point you were getting a job because of who you knew or who your mother went to church with when she was a little girl. And I feel like we have come so far from that now. There is so much competition, as you mentioned. You're fighting with your fellow Caymanians, you're fighting with persons outside of Cayman for a lot of these jobs. And one of the things that sets you apart is not just what knowledge that you have, because you and I can come with the same degree. But if I am able to present myself in a more professional manner, I can come to work on time. I know how to have professional and healthy conversations with my employer. That's going to set me apart from the rest. Especially if you're going to an interview, how are you dressing? Are you coming dressed appropriately? Are you coming in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans and some slippers that are dirty because you walked from the road? It's all about how you present yourself, and it's definitely setting you apart from the rest. If you're able to make a lasting impression because you came in and you were respectful, you were knowledgeable, and you know how to remain professional, there's nothing that can stop you from getting that job at that point. As simple as putting together your resume. A lot of times, especially in HR, the first thing that we're seeing before we even get to know you is your resume or your application. It's if you're completing your application or your resume in its entirety. Are you including the key elements that we're looking for? Are you selling yourself to us? So if you have developed all these skills, you're a shoo-in, right? You should be able to be easily employed. And we just want to remind young Caymanians as they're coming into the workforce, or even those that have been in the workforce for a while and finding it difficult to keep a job or find a job, that, maybe it's time you take a step back and look at some of these areas. Maybe this is where I need to develop myself.
Okay. So, Mr. Francis, let's talk a little bit now about some of the skill sets based on those persons, your intake. Have you seen a mixture in terms of skill set? Some people may come in with a little knowledge, a little experience. What? Let's talk about the quality of your cohorts.
Okay, thanks again. Well, the quality, it varies. There are persons who have entered with high level of skills and competence. There are persons who have entered with little. There are some that has entered with no skills. But it doesn't matter if you have high level of skills or you have no skills at all. We are presenting a platform where persons can get an opportunity to learn a skill at that point in time. Whilst we do give a diagnostic test and persons have to sit and interview, it's not a sieve to push persons out. It's just an opportunity to see where you are performing so that we can be able to stream you whilst we have you in the program. So the skills that persons comes with, it varies, but it does not preclude you from continuing in the program.
Okay. So we don't want to forget now what we're here to talk about. We haven't spoken much about that yet, but the competition itself and the 2-day event. Let's talk about that a little bit now. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, this competition, it's an opportunity for learners to showcase their skills, to showcase their competencies, to showcase their knowledge in terms of what it is that they can do. Because whilst persons may graduate from an academic institution, it doesn't say exactly what it is that you can do. But once you complete training in a technical environment, it's evidence-based. So it shows exactly what you can do. It shows your competence level. So it's an opportunity for students to compete amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, at the end of the day, they'll be awarded with, some very lucrative prizes as well.
Wow.
And it's an opportunity to showcase to the public exactly what technical education is about and the importance of technical education, as I said before, in driving national development.
Okay. So let's put a picture around the competition itself. Judges, you'll have persons judging.
Correct.
As
we
well.
have objective persons coming in who are not associated with Public Works, who will form the cohort of panels for the judges. We also have some sponsors on board who are coming from our industry stakeholders. We have Andrew as a sponsor, Dart, Phoenix, Arch and Godfrey, who has stepped up to the plate and have sponsored the competition.
Okay. Now, we know about the demand for work permits in the Cayman Islands and the demand that is out there, especially with the boom that we now have in the construction in industry, the demand for skilled labor. If I am the owner of a company and I have an interest in knowing what it is you do there, an interest in maybe partnering with you or even hiring some of your cohorts once they graduate, would I be able to attend that skills competition as well? And if not, then what other avenues can I use to link up with you?
Well, the competition, whilst it's internal, of course, now that we are putting it out there to the wider territory, I'm sure persons may want to pop by to see exactly what is happening on the day. So if there are any industries out there who provide construction as their key trade, of course, we're open to having them come and see exactly how our students are performing. It may be an opportunity to engage us to see exactly how is it that they can recruit persons from the cohort of students that we have. Outside of that, persons can just call Public Works Department to set up a meeting to discuss exactly what it is they do and how is it that we can partner with them so that we can have a sustained cohort of trainees who, when complete their program or even during their program, can take up those key jobs within the workforce.
Okay, yeah, because I know of situations where companies apply for work permits. They're required to advertise, let's say, for instance, only on the jobs website at work and not necessarily anywhere else. And this would seem to me to be an excellent opportunity for them to explore the possibilities of finding skilled labor, persons who are trained here in the Cayman Islands. Because when you speak about, let's say, for instance, plumbing and electricity, there are certain standards that have to be met. Sometimes they're hiring persons from overseas where the standards may be completely different as well. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we want to talk a little bit more about that because we're going to sell this program. Other than the skills competition, we're going to sell this program this morning so that no one out there who's an employer will have an excuse to say, I really searched and I can't find a Caymanian, because there is a place in the Cayman Islands that is committed to training Caymanians, to getting them to the point where you as an employer will benefit from employing them. So folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vamp Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Mr. Andy Francis, who's the Training, Development, Safety, Quality Assurance Manager at the Public Works Department, also the head of the Human Resource Department, Miss Tanisha James. We're talking about the Public Works Skills competition that is taking place on Thursday and Friday of this week. But at the same time, we're also informing you about the program itself, eligibility for participating in the program, and not only what the expected results are from that program, but also the actual results that they have seen so far since the program's inception in 2016. That was in 2016. As a matter of fact, I got a WhatsApp message, and I'll share that with you as well. Someone sent a WhatsApp message and said that they believe that they say I referred to the Public Works Apprentice Program. It was started under the then Minister Hugh after Public Works Department bosses suggested the idea. It is a very successful program, as I recall. The person says that they're glad that it is continuing. They think it is a dedicated. They also think that a dedicated space was built, for it as well. Okay, so
yes.
So tell us about your space, what it consists of. Off there, I was talking to you about a friend of mine, and people who probably say he always mentioning, what the two that got going on. Well, we're boyhood friends and remain friends. And I recall when he was conducting his classes down in Rock Hole, and he was using one of those temporary classrooms that we had after Hurricane Ivan, and he had the panel boxes, the outlets and everything there. So, there was a hands-on training that was provided, as well. So, if we can talk about your classroom itself, talk about your preparation for students, those that would want to qualify as qualified electricians, what they go through, the process that they go through as well. Because we see so many things cropping up in the Cayman Islands now. I remember this would have been in the 90s, something that we never heard of before, wiremen. Mm-hmm. That is a big thing now. We know. I strongly suspect that what the industry was doing at that point in time was that those persons who would have found it difficult to qualify based on taking the exam, the electrical examination in the Cayman Islands, they downgraded their position to a wireman. But I believe now, even as a wireman, that there are certain qualifications that you have as well. And there's no one better to speak about that than you, Mr. Francis. So I'm going to pass the mic over to you.
Okay. Thanks again. You know, there's a little philosophy that I normally share with persons who I meet as it relates to technical education. And it's that education makes you trainable, but it's training that makes you employable. Yes. So in essence, education don't make you employable because you may have a PhD, but it doesn't mean that you can do anything. Mm-hmm. But once you are trained, it's an indicator that you can do something. And that is one of our philosophy at Public Works. Now, we have nice, spacious, air-conditioned, technology-driven classrooms that we use to deliver the theoretical training. Of course, it improvises as technical spaces as well, because we have Promethean boards that we use for presentation and, of course, for simulations as well. Mm-hmm. We have a workshop space that we use to conduct the training. In fact, currently, we are remodeling a new space that will house some simulators that we have purchased. Mm-hmm. In fact, it is our students who are the ones who are doing the remodeling of that space, because we want, at the end of the day, our students can say, we did that. Since they are the ones that are utilizing the space, we thought that it's important that they are the ones who would work with their instructors to ensure that they have, you know, a nice, suitable space. Mm-hmm. Now, these simulators are very hands-on. They provide opportunities for students to see what is in the real world. So instructors can set faults on these simulators and allow students to go on, find these faults, and make corrections to these faults as well. Outside of that, we have our partnerships, as we spoke about, where students would go into the world of work, where they would encounter real work situation based on what would have been taught within the institution. But whilst I say this, everything is also hinged to our curriculum, because we don't just teach because the workforce only say we want this. Yes, that is part of what we do. Currently, Public Works, we own all our 13 curriculums. We wrote all our 13 programs. We had them go through a rigorous evaluation and accreditation exercise through City and Guilds. And this came about because City and Guilds have shelved their programs. And by virtue of that, we had to be innovative. We had to think on the spot, because City and Guilds now have what they call an assured status, where any organization that provides training can write their programs, and it goes through a rigorous, robust testing evaluation by City and Guilds London, City and Guilds Malaysia, and of course City and Guilds Jamaica. And once we would have gone through that evaluation and accreditation exercise, then the quality team from City and Guilds would have given the stamp of approval. And we ensure that whilst it is accredited by City and Guilds, and whilst it can be generalized to anywhere in the world, it is also tailor-made to what is happening within the Cayman Islands itself. So it's not like taking an international qualification and use it here. It's also tailor-made to the Cayman Islands environment as well.
Excellent, excellent. We do have a caller, I believe, Ms. Susan. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, morning, OC. Morning to your panel.
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but anyhow.
Mr. Francis and Miss James.
Okay, Mr. Francis, Miss James, Elvis here. Yeah, I went to the trade school in 1979 to read blueprints, you know, because I learned the carpenter on the field. Now, I listening to the program that you guys got going there. It is a good program, but the fault that I find with the program is like we only looking for the top end students. No, I say this, saying that to say this, sir. On a construction company business, on a construction site right now, one of the main things that are needed there, block layers, sheetrock hangers, painters, stuff that you don't need to know nothing but no computer thing to do that. And what we need to do is look. I done this on my construction site. I had a little young fella from Jamaica, Devon. Now, this guy couldn't handle the tape and thing because he could hardly read and write because he came here as a farmer helper and thing, and I got him as a helper. But I learned that he could finish the sheetrock and spread it because he learned to work on cars in Jamaica. So what I done, I made the guys that could hang the sheetrock, I made them hang it for him, and then he finished it. But when I went to get his permit, somebody told him, well, the guy was doing sheetrock work. And I tried to explain it to them that, hey, this guy can finish it. If you give him the tape, the saw and the sheetrock, nothing will be done. So we need to look at our less achievers. Hey, every hotel in Grand Cayman, every building got sheetrock in it, right? And it's a skill that it just requires hands-on training. If the little guy, because we can all admit that we got them come out of John Gray High School and some of the high school that they can barely read and write, and we just let them go on the street. And some of them is dropping out. And we need to get a program for them instead of Northwood, because that's the only program that I see that we got for the low achievers. And let me tell you something. They have to find their place in this world too, So what we need to do with this training program, it's my suggestion. I know it don't. Elvis' suggestion don't go too deep because they make sense. Even if it's only to me, they make sense. We have to in the construction site now. I had guys that couldn't do no camera work, but they could lay a block, and I was paying them $1.25 a piece. They could make $200-300 a day, and they couldn't hardly read and write. But they were happy building building, just like the guy with the architect in his air condition and the guy on the computer. All of them were building the building,
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's why they take. Thank you.
Thank you.
For you guys.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a break for headline news, and when we return, we will give our panelists an opportunity to respond to you. We're going to have about 15 minutes left on the show. If any of you out there have any questions or observations as well, remember you can call us on a toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255, or you can call us on 949-8037 or 949-6990. Email us at for the record, one word, for the record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. Stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after headline news.
This is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Walk them golden stairs, 'cause I know my Jesus answers all my prayers.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Praise time.
Give me Jesus in the morning. For the God of the mountain is still God in the valley.
Shout with joy to God, all the earth sing glory to His name. Praise time. Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
There are 141 active COVID-19 cases in the sister islands, as the 3 islands report 1,497 in all. Public Health says there are now 7 people in the hospital, 4 are unvaccinated. The 7-day rolling average for May 10th is 104. Good morning, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A veteran Palestinian-American correspondent for Al Jazeera has been killed while covering a raid by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. The Qatar-based network said Shireen Abu Akleh was shot deliberately and in cold blood by Israeli troops in Jenin. Her producer was also wounded. And a murder suspect and the female prison guard with whom he escaped planned to die in a shootout if they were captured, police in Indiana have said. 38-year-old Casey White and 56-year-old Vicky White, no relation, were arrested on Monday after an 11-day manhunt as their vehicle was forced into a ditch. He surrendered, but she shot herself before she could be arrested, according to police. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last segment of this portion of the show with Mr. Andy Francis, the Training, Development, Safety, Quality Assurance Manager at the Public Works Department, and also with us, Ms. Tanisha James, who's the HR Manager at the Public Works Department. We're talking about the skills competition that is going to take place on Thursday and Friday of this week, and at the same time we're giving you a broad overview of the program itself. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond to our caller who was calling from the BRAC as well. I was surprised that he didn't ask the question, do you have a program in the BRAC, or if persons in the BRAC are interested, how can they go about joining the program as well? So I'll include that in there also.
Okay, I do thank the caller for that information and appreciate his comment. But one of the things that we do as an organization, as an entity, we believe in diversity and inclusion. And as such, we ensure that when we recruit, we ask everyone who is interested in training to apply, barring none. And hence the reason why I said earlier, once we do a diagnostic test, the diagnostic test is not to exclude anyone from the program. It's just to stream those students so we understand exactly where they are so that we can give them better support in the program. As far as the skills are concerned, we do bricklaying. It's a part of our masonry program. We do sheetrock installation as well. It's part of our masonry and carpentry program as well. So I do appreciate his comment, and should he require recruits, of course he can get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to assist him with persons who are able to do bricklaying at a very high standard, and of course installation of sheetrock. And of course I do ask him if he wishes to come by Public Works Department to see our exhibit as far as our students in competition. I'd love to have him tomorrow, and of course on Friday. He would see those students engage in bricklaying, which he spoke about. Unfortunately, we don't have sheetrock installation as a part of the competition, but I'm sure he would come and he would see our students engage in bricklaying.
Okay, excellent. One of our listeners, Mr. Isaac Edie, has written and said he wants to congratulate the facilitators of this program for the realization, tongue twister, their realization of this so long overdue facility. This is something I have always advocated for with different members of government. This is a good step forward. It's encourage our young people to embrace these wonderful opportunities, and also endorse Mr. Elvis's passion and insight. He's spot on. Let's do this and help reduce the population at Northward Prison. Be encouraged, and he said that his blessings go with you as well. So we want to thank Mr. Isaac Eder for that. We have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning. How are you?
This is Clarence. How are you all doing?
Fine.
I would just like to congratulate the people on there for what they're trying to do to the youth of the Cayman Islands. But I would just like to mention about the programs that Cable and Wireless had.
Mm-hmm.
We had some very, very good workers. They were honest, they were hardworking, but they had problems carrying out the work with written instructions. So what Cable and Wireless did, this was back in the 60s and 70s, they set up a sort of a classroom. You remember the exchange in West Bay behind the police station?
Mm-hmm.
Behind there, they had a storeroom. They took a portion of the storeroom and they set up a school where they taught the guys how to read and write and to do color coding and all that sort of stuff. And during the color coding, we found that some of the people were colorblind. We found lots of different problems, but we taught them how to overcome all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And Cable West actually went out to the schools and found and recruited people to come and work for them during the Easter and summer and Christmas holidays to see if they liked what Cable and Wireless were doing and if Cable and Wireless liked them. And that's how Cable and Wireless was so successful in becoming 100% Caymanian back when it was Cable and Wireless. So all I'm saying is that there's lots of things that can be done to help these people, but first of all, we need to find out what their problems are. And we need to mix it up with the job, whatever the job is, whether it's electrical, plumbing, or whatever. Because remember, with Cable and Wireless, you're talking about wires that had, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 wires in one core, all different colors and all that sort of stuff. So it was a demanding job, and everything wasn't just straightforward, 1 to 1, 2 to 2. It could be 1 going to 15, 15 going to 100, and all that sort of stuff, right? But through training by Cable and Wireless School in West Bay behind the fire station, a lot of those guys rose to supervisors.
Okay.
And they did very, very good jobs.
Yeah, excellent. I don't know if you heard Mr. Nisha earlier speak to some of those skills that you're talking about now, but once you finish, I'll get her to repeat what she said and also to respond to your points of view as well.
And I'd just like to reinforce that that those days Cable and Wireless and CUCs actually went out into the schools and recruited people and told them what they were all about and tried to find out if they were interested in what they were doing there.
Yep.
Okay? I don't think that is happening these days. I think that most companies just expect someone to show up with a degree, and if you don't have a degree, there's no chance for you to get an opportunity.
There still holds career fairs and stuff like that in the schools and job fairs. They still do that.
Yeah, but do the companies go out and actually recruit?
Yes, they do.
And bring them into the workforce.
It's probably not as publicized as it should be, but yeah, they do.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, that is something that could be considered because someone can't read and write doesn't mean they can't work.
So true. So true.
Those guys was very good hard workers, but after we trained them to actually follow written instructions, they were super employers.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For that. And before I give the mic over to you, one of the issues that we saw with that, like for instance, electrical, sitting for your electrical license, person who is not as literate, whether or not oral examinations could be given as well. And, we saw, people advocating for that. We have another caller as well. You guys may be here beyond 9:50 now. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Oscar. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, man.
You have another guest in the studio with you?
Yes, I have Mr. Andy Francis and Miss Tanisha James. They're from the Public Works Department. We're actually talking about their skills competition program that's taking place on Thursday and Friday. So if that's what you want to talk about, because they only have about 5 minutes left on the show, that is fine. If not, I'm going to ask you to try calling back after they have left.
No. I'll talk about that. I've been there a few times and see what they're doing.
Okay.
By the Public Works as well.
Good.
Okay. Hello to both of you as well in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What you all are doing there, I admire. This is one of the best things I've seen in this country in a very, very long time. To know, it reminds me something of what this country is badly in need of, a trade school. When I go there and see some of the kids, I say to myself, you imagine now, if they had took this into hand years ago, Cayman would never have that problem where they're short of staff, people working in different entities and stuff, without people requiring, you need to be qualified or you need to be upskilled in the excuses where they use to keep Caymanians or paper Caymanians up in the workforce. And it has been happening too long in this country, and I'm glad to see you all have, and who came up with the idea, did a wonderful job, and I pray to God that this new government sets up a proper trade school, because they say that they have something that's going on in the college there. But people don't need that sort of stuff. People don't want to be in books. There's some individual that's not good in the books, and just like what the caller said previously, not everybody is good when it comes to reading and understanding, when it comes to coding, but a lot of people are good with their hands and their eyes. So until when they get something like that, because we all will be lacking. But what the job that you all doing, continue doing it, because I see some family members as well and some friends' family in there as well, and I admire what's going on and keep up the good work. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Very encouraging. Ms. Susan, you say we have another caller. I believe we can. We'll grab the caller, and then we'll go to a commercial break, and our panelists won't have to, but we will ask them to remain as well, folks. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, OC. Good morning to your guest.
Morning. I know this one would pique your interest as well.
Yeah, it was itching me, itching. I do appreciate and thank them for their efforts in doing what they're doing. When it comes to doing, you would say, book work, a lot of people out there cannot do it. But you take and you give them a piece of wire and say, hey, look, I want this done. And you show them a couple of times, and let me tell you, they'll master it.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the electrical trade I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And I've excelled up. I went planning. I was an inspector there. I achieved my master's license. I've been certified in Lutron lighting controls. The sky's the limit to what you can do in that field. And, I will tell anyone I did not graduate from school. But I had the initiative to go and do my studies after I left high school that, like I said, I didn't graduate. But I did my GED and I went on and did my electrical license and just took it from there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, I believe that people in the field, if you had an oral test, a lot of them would pass it because a lot of people are not, does not function when you say test in front of them, a written test.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't do it.
Yep.
But they can do the physical work. And I think that that should be an option somewhat, that you can say, they've been in it for 5 years, 10 years. Let's go on the field and see what they've done and that kind of thing and take it from there.
Yep. Okay, caller, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break. We're asking our panelists to remain in the studio a little bit longer because we also want to give them an opportunity, not only for closing comments, but to respond to the callers who previously called as well. So, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Stay clean, stay safe, hey man. Reflection sells gallons of sanitizer for only $25. Buy 2 clip-on sanitizers for just $5. Reflections has the best KN95 masks or reusable cloth masks, and you can get 2 for only $5. Blue surgical masks and face shields are available for children and adults, as well as 10 and 50 packs of black surgical masks. Volume discounts available at Reflections, Jose's Rubus, Reflections Hemp and Tobacco, all 5 Liquor for Less locations, and Food for Less, open 24 hours every day. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible priced better markdown. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Miss Susan, phone lines are closed off now, so okay, good. Sorry that we have to do that, but our panelists here, they have other jobs to do as well, so we don't want to hold them too long. But in the studio with us, we have Mr. Andy Francis, who is the Training, Development, Safety, Quality Assurance Manager at the Public Works Department. Also with us, Ms. Tanisha James, who's the HR Manager at the Public Works Department. And we had several calls before. I just want to add one more question that we have, because I believe, Ms. Tanisha, you're going to speak to the skills other than the mechanical, electrical, and technical skills. We'll speak to that. So this person wanted to know, and actually I think they're talking more about the Public Works Department than they are talking about the program, wanting to know whether or not you've gotten any young Caymanian applications to work with the Public Works Department, and what is being done to promote more Caymanians, or to encourage more Caymanians to come and work with the Public Works Department as well. So, as an HR manager, if you can speak to that as well, that would be good.
Okay, I'll start with the callers previously first, and thank you for your comments. bringing in young Caymanians that are lacking some of these literacy skills are something that we definitely recognize, and interpersonal skills, as I mentioned before. Two of the things that we have done to combat some of that, as Mr. Andy mentioned before, is when persons are applying for the program, they are going through a diagnostic test. Now, I understand that some persons may struggle to complete that diagnostic test, but them being unable to complete it or them scoring poorly does not eliminate them from the program at all. It actually allows us to hone in and figure out how we can best teach these individuals and ensure that they get through the program. Within the program itself, we offer a literacy class. So we actually have someone who comes in and assists the students with their literacy issues in English as well as math. And we also have, as I mentioned previously, Inspire Cayman, who is partnered with PWD, who comes in and assists the students with their interpersonal skills and their employability skills. So it's helping them to write their resumes, how to present themselves in interviews, and etc. So we have recognized that this is a challenge, and these are obstacles in place for some persons who can excel in the trade because they have the knowledge of how to lay the blocks, but they just need some assistance in the other areas. And we're definitely trying to combat that with the program. To the other caller, when it comes to Public Works Department itself, one thing that I can speak on is we do have the apprenticeship program, the school, as you would call it, but we also have run several apprenticeship programs within PWD itself, where we were actually able to hire about 7 young Caymanians since 2014, and we've been able to develop them and keep them within the workforce. So they actually are civil servants and employed with PWD. We have 2 of those students at the moment that are actually overseas completing their studies in the UK. And they remain employed with PWD and getting some assistance from us. So when they return, they're going to be able to excel in PWD in the workforce, and they would have done it all with the assistance from us. We've also have another 3 persons that have completed the program that remain within PWD, and they also were able to go overseas to Jamaica at the time to complete their TVET studies at Hart Trust. We have hired multiple persons, multiple Caymanians over the years, most recently in 2020 to fulfill some roles in our parks department, recognizing that unemployment with our young Caymanians and Caymanians on the whole is an issue. So Public Works is trying in every angle to get Caymanians into jobs and keep them in jobs.
Okay. Mr. Francis, if you may, can you go over again the qualifications for in order to apply for the program, to be eligible for the program as well? Because I think someone in one of the messages spoke about Caymanians, and you did point out that you had to be a Caymanian in order to participate in the program. Huh?
Correct. Each year we can only have a capacity of 50 learners, and all those 50 learners are young Caymanians. We only recruit Caymanians for the program, which means that at the end of any cycle, we are pushing young Caymanians to take up key roles within the workforce. And part of what we do is placement. As Ms. Tanisha spoke earlier, she spoke about Inspire Cayman coming on board, and of course they will also be assisting us with placements. Other than the employability skills, they will place our young people with jobs within the workforce. Persons come in with a clean slate, so whether you have a PhD looking to retool, or you have a master's looking to retool, or you have no skills within construction, no qualification, looking to learn a skill, we accept all. The door is open to everyone who wants to learn a skill. As Ms. Tanisha said earlier, once you come in, whether you have a skill or not, you go through the testing process where we identify what skills you have, And in that way, we're better able to assist and support you through the program. So for any young Caymanian out there who wishes to be recruited to be a part of the Public Works Construction Trades Training Center, all they need to do is to look out for our recruitment drive, make the application. Once you come, we take it from there.
Okay. So we have about 4 minutes left. Want to give both of you an opportunity for some closing comments as well, and to remind our listening and viewing audience about the skills competition itself, when, where, and who can be there.
Okay. My final comment, I just want to say thanks for having us both here.
It's been my pleasure.
Morning. I do want to say thank you to our director as well, who have given a lot of support to the program. I'd like to say thanks to the ministry as well, who have given us a lot of support to ensure that the program can be a success to what it is today. And of course, to our industry partners, our stakeholders, who have been with us and continue to be with us to support the program so as to ensure that our students can get that added value, ensuring that once they leave the doors of Public Works, they can hit the ground running, taking up those key positions within the workforce. Our skills competition is tomorrow, May 12th, and on Friday, the 13th, where our young people will be showcasing their skills across our programs: electrical installation, carpentry, air conditioning and refrigeration, masonry, and plumbing.
And that'll be on location.
And that will be on location. And of course, we want to use this competition as an opportunity to showcase their skills, not just to persons internally at Public Works, but to the wider Cayman Islands as well, so that they can understand what TVET is about. They can understand the role that TVET plays. I often say to person, can you imagine there were no hairdressers or barbers or chefs or electricians? What would have happened to the economy? We would have been in real problems. And as such, we are playing our part within this niche market to ensure that we can produce persons who are capable of taking up these key positions within the workforce.
Okay, Ms. James?
Okay. I too want to thank our director, our ministry, PAHI, for their continued support with the program. Without their support, I don't think that we would be where we are today. I also want to encourage persons who are interested in the program to reach out to us at Public Works Mainline. You can also email us at pwd.apprentice@gov.ky. And if you also want some additional information on the program, we also have a Facebook page. It's PWD space ATC. And one last thing, too, I also want to encourage any female listeners that construction is not a male-based field. I want to encourage you all to break that stigma that women cannot be in construction. It's open to you as well. If you are interested in a more hands-on trade, you're encouraged to enroll and even encouraged to come out to the competition and take a look where you can actually witness some of the young women that we have in the program at the moment as well, doing their thing in the construction industry.
Okay, I want to thank you all very much for being here. And what I would encourage, in Cayman, like all other societies as well, it's always the negative stuff that gets more traction than the positive stuff. So continue to sell yourselves. When you get your graduates there, when you place persons in positions, highlight it. If it means bringing them here on for the record and talking about it, put their pictures in the papers, splatter it all over the place. Talk about your success. That puts you in the forefront. That ensures that other persons know what you're doing, and you may have to increase that fifth number to more than that eventually. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I will continue to give you details about our national hero, the late Sybil Ione McLaughlin. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we a pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we a pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Most of you would know by now that our last living national hero, the Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, MBE, JP, passed away yesterday. And we're doing homage to her today by talking about her achievements, her career as a public servant. And where I left off, I was talking about her elevation to Speaker of the Legislative Assembly on the 15th of February, 1991. The government members at that time in our Legislative Assembly, they included the Honorable Thomas Jefferson, who was the first official member responsible for finance and development, the Honorable Richard W. Brown, QC, second official member responsible for legal administration, Honorable J. Lemuel Hurlston, MBE, JP, third official member responsible for internal and external affairs, Honorable W. Norman Borden, OBE, JP, elected member responsible for tourism, aviation, and trade. Honorable Benson O. Ebanks, OBE, elected member responsible for education, environment, recreation, and culture. Honorable D. Ezard Miller, elected member responsible for health and social services. Honorable Linford A. Pearson, JP, elected member responsible for communications, works, and agriculture. The elected other elected members at that time were the first elected member for the electoral district of West Bay, the now Honorable W. McKeever Bush, Mr. John D. Jefferson Jr., third elected member for the district of West Bay, Mr. Truman Borden, third elected member for the district of Georgetown, Captain Maybury S. Cockernell, MBE JP, first elected member for the Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, Mr. Gilbert A. McLean, second elected member for the district of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, Mr. Roy Borden, first elected member of the fourth electoral district of Borden Town, Mr. G. Haig Borden, second elected member for the fourth electoral district of Borden Town, Mr. John B. McLean, elected member for the district of East End. Also the officers of the House, and some of you may wonder why is he giving all this information, because, folks, this is a part of our history, and if you didn't know it before, I'm sharing it with you now, and I will tell you where you can find it later on as well. The officers of the House at that time, Mrs. Georgette Myrie, Clerk of the Legislative Assembly, Mrs. Wendy Laura Ebanks, Deputy Clerk of the Legislative Assembly, Mr. Klein Astor Glidden, Sergeant at Arms, and additional staff, Mrs. Sharon K. Smith, Clerk Assistant, Miss Nana Bothwell, Executive Officer, and Mrs. Mary Williams, the Refreshment Coordinator at the Legislative Assembly as well. So those were the details in relation to that. Now I have to scroll, and I'm asking you to bear with me. How's that? I'm Susan. Fine. Bear with me. So the governor, Mr. Alan Scott, also delivered the throne speech at that point in time. Then he spoke about, of course, those days, the throne speech, every department was mentioned, and when department heads and permanent secretaries were asked to give their contribution in writing, of course, everyone wanted to be highlighted, and they would write these long exposés about their various responsibilities, the departments that fell under them. And, of course, they had to be shortened because the throne speeches ended up to be, very, very long. And even with those areas being, or even with those what they presented being redacted and abbreviated and everything else. So the governor, Alan Scott, spoke about the office of the Speaker, and then he named who would be selected as the Speaker. She then took the oath of allegiance by the Speaker designate. That was done. The House adjourned after that. When they resumed, the Honorable Thomas Jefferson first congratulated the Speaker and gave his speech. Then the Mr. W. McKeever Bush gave his, which was much longer because he gave so much detail. And of course, we know that he's a student of history, as well. And his was extremely revealing, gave so many details. And like I said, at some point in time, I would really like to share that with you as well. Then the Honorable Norman Borden made his contribution. Then Mr. John McLean, then Captain Maybury Colonel, and Mr. Honorable Benson Ebanks, Mr. G. Haig Borden, Mr. The Honorable Linford Pearson gave his, and Honorable Ezard Miller, Mr. Gilbert McLean, Mr. Roy Borden, Mr. Truman Borden, Mr. John Jefferson Jr., and the Speaker then afterwards gave her response. And that is what I will share with you now. So the Speaker, the Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, now deceased yesterday, she said, "Honorable members, thank you all very much for your kind expressions of welcome and for your good wishes. As is known, the Speaker is not to take part in debates or make speeches unless it is to bring messages or communications to the House. But as this is a special and historic occasion, I avail myself of the opportunity. She goes on to say, 8 years ago, these islands were busy making plans to celebrate 150 years of parliamentary government. A search in the Jamaica Records Office, as well as those in London, provided much background information of the early days of these islands. The first recorded election was held on the 10th of December, 1931, and the first meeting was held on the 31st of December of the same year. The second meeting on the 2nd of January 1932 was probably the most important, as this meeting passed legislation regulating the number of elected representatives and their attendance at meetings. If they did not attend, they were fined. Meetings were bicameral, as we already had one, as we already heard from one honorable member, with the magistrates assembling in one room and the elected representatives in another. Any law passed by the representatives was not valid until it had been assented to by the magistrates. A senior magistrate normally presided over the magistrates. In the 18th century, William Cartwright was listed as the first stipendiary magistrate, and he served between the years 1750 to 1775. He styled himself as governor and was succeeded by William Borden in 1776, who was also called Governor Borden. One honorable member has also noted that in the chamber we have the Honorable R. Carl Rattray, QC, who is the Attorney General of Jamaica, of the Jamaican Ministry of Justice, who was the first stipendiary magistrate appointed to these islands in 1957. Our national hero, the Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, goes on to say, in 1804, Governor Borden recommended the appointment of John Drayton as magistrate. His appointment was confirmed by the Governor of Jamaica, Governor Nugent, on the 11th of March 1934, 30 years later. Drayton is recorded as being a senior magistrate, and it can be assumed that he presided over the magistrates. The title Custos was also given to these men. James Goodchild Coe was one of the first Custuses, and as His Excellency the Governor stated in the throne speech, Edmund Parsons was the last Custos being named at that time as the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Judge, and President of the Legislative Assembly. He was thus the first Caymanian presiding officer. The Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin goes on to say, it is an honor and a great privilege for me to be here today as the first Speaker of the Cayman Islands Legislature. I am also proud that as a woman, I have been approved by the honorable members of this legislature for this position, which I accept with much pleasure. It is a great pride to me personally and to all Caymanians that honorable members were unanimous in this, and I thank you most sincerely. I hope this will be the forerunner and an indication of future unanimity in the House. I'm going to pause there for a commercial break. When we return, hopefully I'll have enough time to share with you the remainder of the late Sybil Ione McLaughlin, Honorable Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, in her acceptance speech. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware, custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In paying homage to the late Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin, who passed away yesterday, first Speaker of our Legislative Assembly, her acceptance speech on the 15th of February 1991. So she goes on to say that it is an awesome task that I am undertaking, and no one knows this better than I do, but I hope that my strength will be equal to my task, and I look forward with pleasure to these duties which as Speaker I shall be undertaken. She goes on to talk about the history of the Speaker. She says the history of Speaker owes its origin in the reign of Mary I, and the first Speaker was appointed in the year 1377, although the origin can be traced back to a much earlier date. The principal function of the early Speaker was to communicate the resolutions of the Commons to the King. Since that time, the duties of Speaker have evolved to include being a servant of the House, not its master. The authority which rests with any Speaker is the authority of the House, formulated through the standing orders approved by the majority of members. The Speaker is thus guiding the House to ensure that everyone gets a fair hearing and protects the rights of the minority and ensures that government business is carried through with a minimum of delay. The Speaker is called upon to apply the rules of procedure to the best of his ability with perfect impartiality. The rules and the uses of centuries are to be maintained. And as one writer so aptly put it, the Speaker, quote, takes care that both majority and minority are unimpeded in their use of the forces and weapons which the order of business provide for the strong and for the weak. Protection of a majority against obstruction and protection of a minority against oppression are both alike functions of the chair. She goes on to say that the Cayman Islands are fortunate to have such able and dedicated elected representatives in this honorable house or honorable legislature, as well as loyal, qualified, and dedicated official members. Members of the general public can be sure that they are all committed to the best for these beautiful islands and its people. She goes on to say, I have just taken the oath of allegiance to Her Majesty, the Queen, which includes my allegiance to these islands, which I love so dearly. I thank God that in this position, I can once again be of service to my country. I seek the guidance of the Almighty God in my undertakings and pray that during the time I shall have the privilege of serving in this capacity, that peace, goodwill, and prosperity will abound for all the people of these islands. She goes on to say, before closing, I would like to pay a special tribute to the clerk's office. The office of clerk, like that of speaker, goes far back into history. The first clerk of the British House of Commons was appointed in 1363, a few years before that of the speaker. The clerk advises the speaker and members generally on procedural matters and is the chief parliamentary officer in the clerk's department, which consists of the deputy clerk, clerk's assistants, and other personnel. She goes on to say that since my retirement as clerk in 1984, the work of that department has nearly doubled. Sittings of the House have been much longer, which demand more Hansard production, that is recording and transcription of minutes. And the staff itself has also nearly doubled. But they are dedicated and hardworking officers, and there is not a second wasted. Every minute is fully utilized. Many of the officers spend long hours, more than the specified time, in order to meet the demands of the House as well. Finally, I must pay tribute to Her Majesty's representative, who have since 1898 presided over the Cayman Islands legislature. These are Frederick Shedden Sanguinetti, bear with me there. George Stevenson Shirthurst, the author of Cayman's First History. Arthur C. Robinson, Houston Hutchins, Captain G.H. Firth, Ernest Arthur Weston, Allen Woolsey Cardinal, John Penry Jones, Albert Collingridge Patton, who acted on many occasions and was a Caymanian, Ivor Otterbein Smith, Andrew Morris Gerard, Alan Hillard Donald, Jack Rose, the last commissioner, and First Administrator John Alred Cumber, Alliston Charles Long, the last administrator, and the first governor, Kenneth Roy Crook, Thomas Russell, G. Peter Lloyd, and last but by no means least, His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Alan Scott. Mr. Scott's term as presiding officer was no bed of roses, no calm waters, often very turbulent, but he has emerged unscathed. He was called to preside over this house for nearly double the time of his predecessors and deserves to be relieved. She goes on to say, I could not fail to mention our Caymanian presiding officers. One was mentioned before, Mr. Spurgeon Ebanks, who was a deputy presiding officer, and also Mr. Craddock Ebanks, who served for some time. Then there was the late Mr. Ernest Panton, who himself had been a clerk of the vestry, Mr. Desmond Watler, Mr. Dennis Foster, and Honorable Thomas Jefferson. To the honorable members, she goes, her last sentence there, she says, to the honorable members of this house, I pledge my support to you in your efforts of good government for these islands and its people. I will make myself available within the constraints of time to all members who might wish to discuss any matters with me. Thank you. Thank you. And that ends there. So, folks, what I'm reading from the Hansards, which are in the archives of our Legislative Assembly. You can log on to the Legislative Assembly's website and you find it. You look for the date, the 15th of January 15th of February 1991, and you scroll, you will find initially where the governor was delivered the throne speech, and after the speaker is sworn in, you will find her speech there. So that is in the archives. I want to say so much more to talk about. Mr. Rennie Barnes, I spoke to him yesterday because I was trying to find where in the Trade Winds newspaper certain articles were of our national hero, the Honorable Sybil Ione McLaughlin. And he brought to my attention another article that was printed in 1966, I believe, 1966, 1967, where in doing her research, Miss Sybil found something that pointed out that the clerk of the assembly was entitled to 8 shillings whenever she did additional work, whenever that individual did additional work for the committees which took place outside of the normal working hours as well. And I think she discovered that some 6 years after she had been doing it. I'm not sure whether or not she was properly reimbursed for that, but I would encourage members of government to do some research, find out whether or not she was reimbursed for all of the time that she put in when she should have been getting 8 shillings for that. And maybe you may want to figure out how much that would be in today's dollars and donate that to one of her favorite charities as well. That is just my suggestion, folks. There's so much more, like I said, to offer on the Trade Winds newspaper in September of 19... trying to find the date. I'll tell you the date later on. In September of 1966, I believe it was, there was section in the Trade Winds newspaper called the Women's Page, and she is featured there also. It is called entitled Sybil McLaughlin Returns. I would encourage you. I will be sharing those with you as well. I spoke earlier about the fact that there was a book published. Also, the title of that book is From Island Girl to National Hero. Sybil Ayon McLaughlin, MBE, JP, Nee Bush, and the author of that book is Heather R. McLaughlin as well. Available on Amazon, and I believe should be, if not, it better be available in our local bookstores as well. Folks, I've gone over the time, but if it was left to me, I will continue this morning to talk about our late national hero, the Honorable Sybil Ayon McLaughlin. Whenever the opportunity avails me, I will share more with you as well. And of course, the government has indicated that more will be announced in terms of what will be done for her. Meanwhile, flags are flying half-mast for her as well. And again, we extend our condolences here at Radio Cayman to the family of our national hero, the late Sybil Ayon McLaughlin. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Join me on Friday, where we will be talking about Bird Migratory Day. We will also have representatives from Emsley Memorial Church talking about their 100th anniversary of Emsley Memorial Church as well. So, folks, stay safe. Have a great day, and God bless.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And giversplanet.com. Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in